Okay, everyone, good to have you all here. This is the first session of the new series of classes for TESOL Canada. This webinar is an introduction to teaching a second foreign language. My name is Alham Misagi, and very glad to have classes with you guys. Before starting the webinar, actually, I wanted to show you the canvas and different parts, but since I'm sharing the PowerPoint, let's go through the PowerPoint. Then later, I will show you the canvas and how can you study the modules and how can you find lessons. Sure? I want to start with the quote from Noam Chomsky. You know, he's a great linguistic. And he said that the language acquisition device, LCD, that's his theory on LAD, I'm sorry. LAD, language acquisition device, is a system of principles that children are born with that helps them learn language and accounts for the order in which children learn structures and the mistakes they make as they learn. So there's a system inside that everybody can learn language, even children. But how naturally children learn the language and what's the difference between first language and second language will be in the second webinar that we're going to have in this week. Also, linguistic bleed, second language acquisition, started over 5,000 years ago. So it's not something new. And people can learn another language successfully. Even there's a theory that children can learn up to 4 or 5 languages at the same time if they have a good exposure to that language. Let me give you an example. Like mom speaks Spanish, father speaks English. At school, they study German, and their friends speak French in the neighborhood, or they have some friends or neighbors that they play every day with them, and they speak French. And they have a nanny or someone to take care of the children, and she speaks Dutch. They can understand all. They can understand all because they have exposure to it every day. So even for children, it's possible to learn 4 to 5 languages. The question is, what's the difference between ESL or EFL? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds and tell me what's the difference.
English as first language, English secondary language or second language. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. ESL English as second language or foreign language. Do you have any ideas what's the difference? Study English as second language or study English as foreign language? What's the difference?
It's just like it's not your mother tongue and you have to go with the grammar and everything. Because when we speak English, we just don't know where the what the grammatical errors we are doing. So maybe they are teaching us in detail about how to write compositions and everything. So maybe it is just like that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just guessing it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for sharing your idea. Actually, ESL, English Learning, or TESOL, Teaching English as a Second Language or English as a Second Language, its learning context is when the classroom's target language is readily available out there, like teaching English in Canada. Everybody speaks English out of the classroom, out of the institute. So your student, wherever they go, oh, they can hear English. Mm-hmm. That's the second language. Maybe they speak in at home, they speak Arabic or they speak Urdu. But when they go out, they they hear English. So when they go to school or when they go to language school, they study English, and outside in the society, in the community, everywhere they hear English and they have to communicate in English. But as a foreign language is when students do not have ready-made context for communication beyond their classroom. So they learn, for example, they learn English in the class, but in Pakistan, out of the classroom, they have to speak Urdu. It's not English. But they can practice it in the class or through social media or other online sources, but it's not on the community. Another example could be teaching English in Japan or Morocco as a context of English as a foreign language. Because in Japan, people speak Japanese, but when they go to language school, they study English. But in the society, they have to speak Japanese. In Canada, I can give you an example for foreign language like teaching Arabic. So in the class or in language school, they talk Arabic, but outside they have to speak English. So Arabic is a foreign language in Canada. So what about English in your country? Is it second language or foreign language?
It is somewhere it is considered as first language, and somewhere it is considered as second language. But in schools and offices, it is considered as first language.
Foreign language, you mean? Huh?
Yeah.
Foreign language. Oh, okay. So they everybody speak. I mean, the official language is Urdu. Am I right?
Official language is Urdu, but most of everywhere, all the documents, everything is in English.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So everybody can speak English.
Yeah, everybody, most of them.
Wow, interesting. 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 That's very nice. So you get what is the difference between second and foreign. Second language is a language that most of the people, okay, outside in the community and society use that language. Like Arabic in Dubai. You move to Dubai, you go to classes, you learn Arabic, and outside everybody speaks Arabic. But foreign
Yeah.
language is the language that not many people speak it out of the classroom, like learning Arabic in Canada. In the classroom, you practice Arabic, but when you go out, you have to speak English. So that's the difference between these two. And how to teach a second language effectively. So back to your experience since you're a teacher. So what do you think? What do
For
you think?
example,
Hmm.
we start speaking English with the children from the early ages.
Hmm.
For example, I have a daughter. I have started speaking English when she was 3 months old. So I did not speak a
Wow.
single word of my language, Urdu. Now she is completely English spoken. I have introduced books to her. I have introduced many activities to her just to learn English. So now she does not know how to speak Urdu, but she knows how to speak English very well.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. So she has a very high exposure. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
One
So
of
same
the,
goes in the
yeah,
school as well.
I'm sorry. Could
Same
you
goes
repeat?
in the schools as well. Teachers speak English. Most of the teachers speak English, and they don't speak Urdu, or they are not allowed to speak Urdu because English is an international language. Although they have classes in Urdu as well, but they prefer to speak English everywhere in offices, in universities, in schools, everywhere.
Wow, interesting, interesting. Definitely, definitely when the students have better exposure, they can be more accurate and more fluent in the language. Wow, interesting. Very good. Perfect. So another factor is learner autonomy. As a modern teacher, we need to consider this factor very important. And it's very important and very crucial. Do you have any ideas what is learner autonomy?
No, no idea.
Oh, okay. So learner autonomy was coined in early 1980s by educational guru Henry Hollett. He defined it as learner's ability to take charge of his or her own learning. In another word, it means learners have responsibility for their learning. I remember in traditional way of teaching, teachers did everything. They explain everything. Even they translate the text. They repeat the answer of all the questions, and students just follow and copy. But the new way of teaching, learning autonomy is very crucial and very important to be considered, which means students have some responsibilities. They have to try to learn. They have to think. They have to find. They have to find the answers for the questions. They have to work collaboratively together to find new ways to understand the text. Actually, teachers are supporters, leaders, they monitor their students, they help the students, they present some parts of it. But as a matter of fact, they encourage the students to try more, okay? Because when you try for something, what is the result? What do you think? When you try so hard and you think about it, you search about it, what would the result?
You have different exposure to everyone. You try. When you try, you fail. But when you try, after you learn so many things, and then you will you will be succeeded.
Exactly. And the result is better learning. Better learning.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
learn from your own mistakes also.
Exactly. That's what Chomsky believes. Yeah. Bravo. Bravo. Thank you. So in autonomy task, we need to allow students to rely on their own resources and learning potential. So they make their own blog. When we want to ask them to, as a teacher, we ask them to write something. So why don't you make a blog? And then in your blog, you can write about your experience of learning the language. One thing is they try to make something interesting. Number two, using social media, which is very common these days, and technology. It's impossible in 21st century. You don't use technology for in your career, for your teaching. You ignore technology. It is impossible. On the other hand, they become so motivated and excited because they're making blog for themselves. This is an example. And they have their, I mean, it's their own. It's their own. It's something belongs to them. Or even preparing presentation for the class for next session. I want you to talk about your favorite city. So search for it, Google for it. Or for even for children, I want you to draw something that you like very much to go. Where do you really like to go? Where do you really like to go or travel to? So draw it, and next time come to the class and explain it to the class. Have a talk to your friends, for your friends. Can I ask you kindly, Bushra, mute your microphone? It's a bit noisy. Thank you very much. So preparing presentation for the class. Again, they have the responsibility to Google, to search, or to draw something beautiful. Then prepare their talk and come to the class or write about it. So you give them some responsibility to try for. And another example could be open learning. So in open learning, we never put the students in a box. Everybody should do the same task. Like asking all the students, you have to draw your bedroom and write 5 sentences about the bedroom. Maybe it's very difficult for some students to draw something because they are not good in drawing. So what will happen is they won't do that task, and they won't like the class to come because they think they're forced to do something. Open learning actually gives motivation to students. In this way, teachers give them options. So students are given a number of tasks to choose from based on their talent, based on their interest. So let me give you an example. If you want, even for lower level, if you want your student to use there is and there are, and they use it in different sentences. You can say, you can even draw your favorite room in your house, and then use there is and there are and say why, or write why it's interesting and why you like it the most. You can make a video. You can make a video with your cell phone. You can make a video and then write something, use there is and there are about different objects or talking about different furniture in the video and email it to me. Then I can share it with your class. Or you can even come and talk. You record yourself and talk about your favorite room. Even you can only write some sentences and then ask your students, ask the other student, what is the room, or where is that room? For example, there is a big mirror on the wall. And there are soaps in the cabinet. There are 2 towels next to the mirror. Some sentences like this, and then said, where is it? So you would read it to the class, and then the students guess which room is it. And this, for example, it's bathroom. So we can even make a game for your classmates. So you give a choice, You give a choice to the students based on their talents. They choose one of them, and they can become more creative in doing their assignments because it's something that they like to do. That's open learning. Self-access centers, or SAC. So in this case, teachers can prepare relevant, authentic materials or sources or links for the students, flip to them to find out more information about the topic of the lesson. When you ask them to search for something or Google something, so it's good you prepare material for them. You can upload the material in your online classes. You can upload your extra material or share the links or share the sources. Even you can email it to your students. And first, at the very first step, you help your students how to use different material to learn better. When they become more independent, they can Google it. For example, maybe it is difficult for 10, 12-year-old students to Google everything. Actually, I doubt it because nowadays even 2-year-old children can use cell phone. But anyhow, it's good to help them at the beginning. You prepare the material. And they said, okay, here you have bunch of links and sources. You can go through it and find what you like, what you need to talk about or to write about. So again, they have their responsibility. They have the responsibility to search for it. Through this searching, Googling, studying, actually, they learn the language better because it's kind of practicing. The other aspect, which is very important in teaching language, is learning styles. As you know, students have different learning styles, or basically people have different learning styles. Many people likes to see something, and if they don't see that the information or the text, they won't learn it. Like myself, I'm a visual learner. I need to read it. I need to see it to understand it. So visual learners prefer to use pictures, diagrams, images. In this way, they can understand the context better. So some of our students maybe are visual learners. So we have to prepare videos, posters, pictures, diagrams, images in our toolbox or in our teaching toolbox to get to the class. Some learners prefer using sounds. They prefer to listen to their teachers. They learn through musics or rhythms. They like sounds. They like songs a lot. They're auditory learners. So you see in your children classes that some learn the song much faster than the others. Or many students, they have to concentrate on teachers' explanations or what's going on in the classroom, and what's the teacher saying. This is the way they learn it. Even some are verbal through conversation with the others. Through conversation with the others. They like to talk about it, or even they like to write about it. This is the way they learn. There's another group that we call them kinesthetic. Kinesthetic are the ones that they use, they need to act and they use their hands, touching, sense of touch. So when they want to teach them monk, they say, oh, me get it. Oh, that's it. So they like to touch something to learn. You see it in babies. They touch everything, and sometimes the mothers get frustrated. Why you take everything? So that's the way they understand, through touching. So, or acting. So kinesthetic learners, actually, they like games or acting, role playing. This is the way they satisfy of their learning. Still, there are some learners that they need thinking time. They have to work alone. They need to study by themselves. So during the class, we need to give students thinking time. I myself usually, no matter what level, even in my IELTS classes, always give them time to think before answering. So when I ask them a question, depends on the level of the class and age of the age group of the students. I said you have 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or even 4 minutes to think about it, or search for it, or scan it, skim the text, or Google it, then answer. So they have time to review what they have learned and understand what is the concept. Although, as I said, some learners are social, they like to talk with the others and share ideas. And even there are some learners, they want to know the reasons. They search for logic behind it. They want to know what is the rule, and they ask for explanation and why it works like that, or what's the difference between this structure and the other structure. So basically it means based on different learners that we have, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, or combination of all, or combination of all. So some students are visual and kinesthetic, or some students are verbal and auditory. It happens. So we need to take, for teaching effectively, we need to take our toolbox. So in our toolbox, we have some teaching aids for visual learners. We have audio songs for auditory learners. We have games for kinesthetic one. We have role plays or conversation activities for those one who likes to talk. And we have worksheets for those who like to take notes and they need thinking time to work by themselves. So you have all this in your toolbox. And we need to consider learning styles. Otherwise, if you only prepare posters, it's only good and it works for visual ones. So sometimes, because I'm an observer as well, so sometimes I observe some classes and teacher says, I explain it 100 times, but still students have problems. And so how do you explain it? And so I use these pictures, I use these videos. So, okay, that's nice, but not all the students are visual or auditory. They have different learning style. Why don't you prepare worksheets? Maybe they need to read and write to learn it. Why don't you put them in pairs? Maybe they have to share their ideas and learn from each other. So consider all. Another aspect, which is very, very important, are the skills which is for 21st century. So, Busha, can you tell me what are the main skills of 21st century? Any ideas do you have?
21st century, you have to be tech savvy. If you are
Mm-hmm.
not tech savvy, you cannot be successful in every aspect of life. There is technology everywhere, especially social media.
Mm-hmm.
There is a huge influence and impact of social media on us. So I think we should learn all the aspects of social media, how it is working and how to do that. Because
Thank you.
everything now,
Oh, okay. I guess you get disconnected. I cannot hear you. But actually, you say what you want to say, so which was very true. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you Google it, you see 4 C's or and recently 6 C's for 21st characteristics of 21st century learners. The 4 C's are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. It's not only for students, but also for the teachers. So by communication is students need to communicate, they use the language. If they learn, for example, if they learn Spanish, they need to communicate in the class in Spanish with the other students and with the teacher. This is the way they practice, verbally or written. They write in Spanish. Collaboration means they learn how to work together to do a project, to do a task. In this way, they practice the language. They talk in that language and they do the activity in that language and they write together and they help each other. They try together to find the answer, to do the task. So actually, it works on learner autonomy as well, because in collaboration, they need to search, they need to analyze, they need to understand. So it's better level of learning. Critical thinking means they have the ability to analyze, question the information. So they think about the problem. They think about the problem and they understand it. And then they study for the solution. Creativity means doing a task in different ways, or finding the answer in new way, or finding new solutions, doing assignments or activity based on their ability, their talent, their interest, like open learning, which I was talking about in the previous slides. So let the students be creative. It's good that teachers be creative too. So, for example, for teaching reading, they don't use only one method. They use different methods, different ways, each time more interesting. It's not the same that caused the boredom of the students. So it's good to be creative in our teaching and our class management. Also, give the opportunity to the students to be creative. Besides these 4 C's, there are another ones that we call it citizenship and character education. In citizenship, actually, students should understand their neighborhood, their country, their city. They understand what's going on, what's the culture, and how can they communicate with the others? How can they learn or use the language that they are learning in that community? And in character education, they become responsible, caring, and contributing citizens. It's beyond the border. They learn about the others. There's a very nice article. Let me share it. Give me a minute. Let me share it in the chat box with you. Okay, let me share it in the chat box. Give me a minute. Okay, so here it is. That's the link. It's a
Yes,
very
I
nice.
have it in my chat
Oh, okay.
box.
Oh, okay, great. It's a very useful article about the 6 C's. So I highly recommend you go through it. So while this is very important to remember, while you're preparing your lesson plan, so we consider communication activities like pair working, group working, collaboration, giving them tasks or kind of conversation that they need to prepare and role play, critical thinking, not too easy, not too difficult. Let them let put the students in a challenging situation, let them think and become more creative. And we always localize their material based on the culture, based on the custom of that community. But not only that's not enough. Also, they study or they read context and study about the other cultures, and they care about the others. So it's working on global citizenship. As you said, because of social media and internet, it is very hard, or let me say it's impossible, to put them in a border. So good they know about the others as well. So the skills for 21st century teachers could be, here are some examples. Teachers are like researchers. It's the same as you. You said you are a teacher for a long time, but still you participate in a new course to learn better. Okay, to learn
Yeah.
about new ideas. Exactly. So the search and the study for their improvement and they're digital designers using technology. It's impossible nowadays. You teach without using technology. It's almost impossible. And even if you do that, it's going to be very boring for the students because our students are digital native. It's part of their life. How can we ignore it? They are leaders and lead the students to learn better what to do and solve their problems. Cooperative, of course, inclusive. They are open to different ideas. There's no one idea which is correct for everything. That's impossible. Different people, different aspects, different views. So they're open to new ideas, they're open to new thinking, reflective on their job. Each for each class, we need to reflect how well I could achieve the main goal of the class. Creative, so their class is so engaging, fun, and interesting and useful for the students. They are good storytellers. We need to put the students in the context. How can you put in the context? To contextualize, to make the class in a way that they can understand it. So they have to be very good storytellers to dramatize the situation, so put the students in the context. And they are continuous learner. There is no ending. So science never finishes. So it goes on. It goes on. So the same way is for teachers. It's impossible. You just stick to one method. There are different methods because you are working with human beings. They are improving. So continuously we have to study and learn about different methods, different characteristics, their needs, the need of the society these days. How can my class be more interesting? What are the new ways? Talking to the others and relationship builder. So there's a rapport between teacher and students, also for children, between teacher and parents, and even there's a collaboration between the own teachers. For example, in the school that you're working, there should be collaboration between all teachers sharing their experiences. And nowadays, by using social media and internet, there's no border. You can teach in Pakistan and just collaborate with another teacher in Canada, and you share your experiences. It's possible. It's possible. So stages for continuing professional development as mentoring, lesson study, professional portfolio, book sharing, social media, internet resources, reflection, journal and diary, videotaping, and online forums. They're all works. In future webinars, we are going to discuss more on first language, second language acquisition. Oh, hi, Tamiro. How are you doing? Good to have you here. Okay, guys, I want to share with you a very short clip. And let me see, share computer audio. It's about 20 characteristics of 21st century. It's good to have it. I think it takes only for 1 minute. Let me share it. Okay, okay. So guys, just let me know if you can hear it. Thank you. So you all know about 21st century. So we're going to see how to use this knowledge in preparing the lesson plan. Remembering the learner's style of learning and characteristics of 21st century, communication, the 6 C's, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and how to use technology in our teaching. But let me share my screen for Canvas, how to use Canvas. Share screen, there you go. So here is the Canvas. Then you click on Go to Course. You need to have your password and ID, of course. I guess you get it through via email. So you click on here, Go to Course. Then you have modules here. Click on modules. And you see all the modules here. Welcome to TESOL Canada. And then start Introduction to Teaching a Second Language. Then you have grammar. And for each week, it's said what part you need to study. Then you have your assignments. You click on it. You have the assignments. For example, grammar day 1, unit 1.2, sentence quiz. You have to do the assignment. And you have to take some quizzes. So it said when to take the quiz. Usually 10 questions. They're very short quizzes. So first study, then do the assignment, and after that you can take the quizzes. Good? So here, for example, for grammar day 1, here is Introduction to Teaching the Second Language. There you go. There's one page about this topic. And for Grammar Focus Day, Unit 1, sentences. So here is the PowerPoint. So you just click and study, but it's about different sentences. What's the difference between these 4 kinds of sentences? And then you go to the assignment parts, do the assignments, and later do the quiz. So if you have any questions right now, you can ask me that. So another thing that I want to put in your chat box is I have the date actually. You can see it in, hello, Muhammad. Good to have you here. So you can see it actually in the moduling on Canvas. But here it said that, let me share it. So due date for midterm exam gonna be November 20th. And conversation activity, for example, November 27th. The 4 skills lesson plan gonna be December 12th. So you see all the dates. But what about the videos? Where can you find the videos? Let me share that one with you too. So where to find videos? So videos are all in YouTube. There you go. TESOL Canada, YouTube TESOL Canada. You can see all the videos. Even this session video, you can find it over there. So I'm gonna share it in the chat box. Where's the chat box? There you go. Here. So you can see all the videos. All classes are recorded and then uploaded on the site, YouTube TESOL Canada. Good?
That's right.
Okay. Yes, English is a foreign language in that country, and Arabic is the official language. Thank you, everybody. Do you have any further questions? So,
I need to ask
yes,
if
please.
I can get your email to contact you for further.
For further questions, just send an email to TESOL. They definitely answer you back. But go through your Canvas modules. You can find the answers for many of your questions. And you can find the videos on YouTube easily. So you are going to have classes every day. I don't know what in your time zone, but in my time zone, it's 9 p.m. What time is it in yours, Tamira? What time is it over there?
No, it's 8:30.
It's 8:30 in the morning?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. For Bushra was 7. What about you, Muhammad? What time is it for your
It's for morning.
4 in the morning? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. Good morning, everybody. So take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
goodbye.